What's up, everyone? We are back for some more Zero Base One. I saw all the comments. I appreciate the love and the enthusiasm regarding my first reaction to Zero Base One. This video today is going to be a little bit different. I don't know what this is going to be about, to be honest with you. Someone sent me this link and it looks like it's maybe like a variety show. Apparently I'll be able to get a better sense of their personalities through this video. I'll try to recall their names to the best of my ability. And we'll go from there. Let's get into it.
나 중간고사 너무 어렵지 않았어? 나 수학 20번 그 정답이 뭐야?
뭐야? 나 4번.
4번? 5번 아니야? 엄마 존나겠다 이거. 와.
뭐야? 4번이야.
와.
뭐야? 인스네이카. 야 뭐야?
인신네카.
이런 큰 인스네이카 처음 해봤어. 하나, 둘, 셋. 지금 조금 웃어볼까?
So Ji-woong was the oldest member. I do remember that. I remember people in the comments mentioning that, and I do remember saying that he seemed very kind, like he wouldn't have a bad word to say about any of the other members, and maybe that's because of his age and his maturity, and maybe they look up to him in a way, and I know there's a cultural thing in Korea, but perhaps he doesn't want to like abuse his authority. That's what it seems like, and yeah, he comes off as very kind. I also recognize Matthew. I recognize Tae-rae, although I feel like I'm definitely pronouncing that wrong. I want to say like, Tae-rae! What up, Tae-rae? But I feel like it could be like
Terry
or something like that. I don't know. If someone can help me with the pronunciation in the comments, that would be great.
한 명만 서줘 한 명만.
Tae-rae!
Yes, all because of you. 난 그저 모르는 채 반복할 때 없을 때 그마다 변화 못해 너만 달려갈게
It's a fun video. They seem like a really fun group. I'm already smiling. There's a good amount of chaos going on. Ricky, I think that's Ricky with the blonde hair. He seems a little bit more on the tame, quieter side. But between Tae-rae, I think Gyuvin was his name, and Matthew, I feel like those guys are the shit disturbers. They kind of lead the chaos, it feels like.
야 지현아. 아니야 이거 매튜야. 형이 입으라고 했잖아. 저게 내 거래. 아 진짜? 어. 죄송합니다.
Yeah, what's his name? The oldest guy, Ji-woong. He reminds me a little bit of Subin from TXT. He's got a very kind of calm vibe about him. Doesn't seem to get phased. You know, he seems quite comfortable in his own skin. That also could have to do with the maturity thing. Kind of nice, approachable vibe to him.
어떻게든지 저는 다른 사람들 밀겠어요.
These shows are always ridiculous, huh?
넌 그대로인데?
야 팝콘 많이 먹네.
너네 안 봐줄 거야. 너네 이제 큰일 났어.
It's interesting, like the juxtaposition between Ji-woong's energy and the rest of the group, right? The rest of the group right now is like excited and loud and rambunctious to a degree. And then you got Ji-woong who's kind of strolling in there slowly. His voice is a little bit lower.
많이 먹네.
너네 안 봐줄 거야.
Like I think he probably brings like a calmness and maybe like a centeredness to this group, which is interesting. Like I'd be interested to learn a little bit more about their dynamic and his specific role within the group. And yeah, if I had to guess, what it seems like is he kind of brings that groundedness, that centeredness to the group amongst a lively bunch over here, especially as they get together, they seem even crazier, right?
흔들리지 않고 꽃은 없어 너도 알잖아. 오지 않은 내일은 생각 안 할래. 너만 생각할게. 그잖아 아름답게 세상을 다 물들여도
Now, I like how Ji-woong just sort of like being silly and goofy, and he's like kind of allowing himself to be the joke, like the center of the joke. And, you know, he's this playful older brother that they get to kind of have fun with. He seems to have like dropped the formalities and say, you know what, even though you guys are young, I don't know how much younger they are, but even though you guys are younger, I don't mind you messing around with me. Right? And I think it takes probably a certain level of humility to be able to do that, especially within the Korean cultural dynamic. So that's cool. I can appreciate that.
미안한데 주디야 네 화면의 반이야 지금
right? And he allows them to tease him. You can see that. Tay-Ray. It's probably like Tyree or or Ty-Ray. Anyway, I'm going to call him Tay-Ray for now. Tay-Ray just teased him there, and, you know, June kind of just took it in stride, right? No problem. It's easier to be around people like that. I find that that can really help probably with this group dynamic, is allowing for the jokes, allowing for the teasing, not being uptight about that, being open about allowing your brothers or your friends to poke fun at you a little. As long as it's obviously in good fun and it's not malicious, I think it's only going to engender more rapport between the group, because it allows people to just be a little bit more free and a little bit more open and a little bit more loose, and they're not walking on eggshells. So I think it's a testament to Ji-young's sort of humility here, that I think the group is probably a little bit looser and a little bit more kind of free. That's what it seems like.
규빈이가 팝콘을 먹고 있는데?
아니
누가 마음에
우린 정했어.
응 정했어.
김규빈
게임 깨야 돼. 지훈이랑 맥주가 나가자. 아니 나 저거 못 봤어. 뭐야? 아 저도요. 아니 다 모이길래 나 그냥 뒤에서 이러고 있었는데 갑자기 찰칵 소리가. 우와.
Gyuvin for me has that youthfulness about him still. I think he's got like a youthful energy. He definitely has a charisma that stands out to me. And Hanbin's he's sharp. Hanbin's very sharp. Like I said before, he's polished, but you can see he commands attention in a different way. You know, he's more, it seems like, in the middle ground between extrovert and introvert. Now, he's another really charismatic one.
오늘 동생들이 하고 싶은 거 마음껏 펼치게 가만히 있으려고.
He's easygoing.
동생들한테 이렇게 살아요.
여기 센터인데 왜 그래? 이게 있어.
야 김지훈 또 말하면 해? 너희들한테 마음의 상처를 받았으니까 날 건드리지 말아줄래? 저는 제로베이스온의 마청입니다.
주대야. 주대야 진정해. 주대야 진정.
I mean, I think he was just joking about him saying they hurt his feelings, but
마음의 상처를 받았으니까 날 건드리지 말아줄래?
like there, he kind of used his age as part of the joke and was like, hey, you guys are messing around with me, don't forget I'm the oldest, sort of thing. He's able to have fun with them through that lens as well. Like he lets them mess around, and he's open about that, and he's accepting about it. But at the same time, like, he's going to turn it back on them, and they're equally as okay with it, and like they kind of submit to it when it's his time to turn it on them. Yeah, this is part of the teasing. This is kind of part of like that teasing dynamic that they seem to have with each other.
지켜.
너무 좋아하시는 거 아니에요, 다들?
컨셉이야 이거.
아니 너무 잘 어울린다 규빈이 형.
진행합시다.
What a random show. I have no idea what the hell is going on. Like, they're dressing up in different outfits, then like the next second they're singing a song. The next second, like, they're like trying to tackle each other and pick each other up. So I'm just going along for the ride here. Shout out to everyone else who doesn't know what's going on either and is just enjoying the show. Hanbin's got that it factor too. I was thinking, like, who likes to be in the spotlight the most? I still haven't decided, but I think it might be Hanbin. I think not only is he comfortable in the spotlight, but I think he enjoys it. And I think for me, that's generally, from all the K-pop groups that I've seen, that's sort of like the determining factor, for me at least, in my opinion, of what gives someone that kind of it factor, that X factor. And it seems to me, I'd be curious to see what he's like on stage, but it seems to me that Hanbin really has that. You know, it seems like he likes being in front of the camera and he's comfortable in it. Like, he kind of thrives in the spotlight. And I was going to say, Ganuk as well seems like he's a bit mischievous as well. He's got a mischievous side.
규빈아 숙소에서 기다려. 진짜 억까당했습니다 방금. 진짜 말이 안 돼. 재밌다. 개그 튀었습니다 그냥.
있지야 있지. 야 크로와상이 왔네.
These are good costumes.
아니야? 야 크로와상이다. 야.
Yeah, House seems quite extroverted as well, and I think he likes being in front of the camera too. He likes being in the center of things, How. And I noticed Matthew was actually, you know, quite observant of the other guys. Yeah, just sort of like he seems like he'd probably have a good read on the other members in the group. And he seems like, you know, he can kind of get in the mix and be super outgoing, but he can also take a step back and kind of analyze the situation at hand. That's my initial read on Matthew so far. But again, like, he's another one of these guys you don't know what's going to come out of his mouth or what he's going to do next. It seems to be a theme here with Zero Base One.
나는 일단 표정부터 깡패잖아 지금.
아니 앞에 규빈이가 너무 바꿔는 더 없는데?
말 들어 그냥.
Come on.
그저 모르는 채 반복해도 after day 결말은 변함없네 또 난 달려갈게 Tell me 더 맞을 발라
Yeah, like Tayray's the type of guy I feel like one second he's singing and the next second he's like tapping you on the head, like doing something random. I feel like, I don't know, there's like an unpredictability about him. Like the wild kid that you can't just like rein in. It's like everyone's being called up for dinner and like Tayray's there just like, you know, making a mess.
First tell me 더 맞을 발라 내가 잡는 것이 지금 너에게
Maybe Tayray was that kid who would just be in his room singing all day and you couldn't get him to study. And you just hear like this like faint noise from upstairs of Tayray just, you know, belting the top of his lungs. But he's awesome. And I kind of like how they're fighting for the mic here. You know, him and Hal were kind of fighting for the mic. So, you know, these guys seem to like, they look to pick at each other. Like they make an effort to single each other out so they can tease each other. Like they like kind of poking at each other. That seems to be a theme here. They like poking at each other. And they look for it. They look for the action. They look for the chaos. They look for the mischief. Right? Like that seems to be a big part of their dynamic and what kind of bonds them.
하나 둘.
난 뿌이를 못하는.
오늘부터 전국 인생 내꺼 매장에서 제로베이스 원 한정판 프레임 같이 만나보자.
Started today, check out the limited edition frame of Zero Base One at the Life 4 Cuts stores.
Hanbin he's a stud. He's a stud when it comes to communication. Like, he just kind of brings everything together and gives this group a certain sense of polish and togetherness and just fluency. Like, he's very, very good in front of the camera, very confident in front of the camera. Yeah, just sort of like a great kind of liaison between the fandom and the group itself, it feels like. Good at presenting information to the world in a very confident way that feels like he wants to be there, feels like he wants to share with us. And just very put together, like very professional and polished. I bet he kind of gives the group a lot of confidence, like knowing that they have a guy like Hanbin who can kind of lead the way and speak confidently and give a fluent outro and a fluent intro. And I bet that provides a lot of relief for this group. So I think he's got his role in the group. I think Ji-eun being this sort of like chilled out, easy to be around, approachable older brother brings a cool dynamic to this group as well, because they can kind of joke around in an even greater way. There's no boundaries there really in terms of how far their chaos can go. So I think that's part of what makes it really fun. Like they don't put sort of restrictions on each other in terms of the teasing. Yeah, just a interesting dynamic, interesting group of guys. Yeah, Gyuvin's got a lightness about him and an innocence about him, and I like a lot of these guys. So in the meantime, if you want to watch my full, uncut reaction and analysis, all you need to do is go to my Patreon page. The link is in my description below. Other than that, my name is Max, and I will catch you soon. Peace!